हाँ तो दिखाते नहीं ना। सारू मिनिमाइज कर दो।
फरी भी आएगा।
हाँ बोला ना। ओए ओए सारू हाँ दबाई दे दो। हाँ वेटिंग।
या अब पार्टिसिपेट करना बंद कर दो।
I declare the 11th convocation open.
Thank you very much. Professor Abhijit Banerjee, the chief guest of this convocation, Shri Sanjay Lalbhai, Chancellor, Shri B.M. Shah, Registrar, members of Board of Governors, Board of Management and Advisory Board of Ahmedabad University, deans of schools and heads of centers, faculty and staff, parents, family members of the graduating students of Ahmedabad University, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 11th convocation of Ahmedabad University. Last year, at this time, we were unsure as to how would the pandemic affect India. When would the vaccine arrive? How would our graduates navigate the new challenges of the world? Who will want to travel the world to be part of a new institution? Of course, we were left devastated early this year and lost many in our family and friends. The university lost its phenomenal servant who saved many during the crisis, our Colonel Sanjeev Kaushal, who we also remember today. Yet, the indomitable spirit of Gujarat prevailed, and we built hope when there was darkness. We completed the academic year with enormous grace, care, and rigor through the efforts of our amazingly innovative faculty who rose to the occasion. We placed our students, and today we gather here to confer degrees on 833 students of the university, which includes 616 students of the Amrit Modi School of Management, 161 students of the School of Engineering and Applied Science, 39 students from the School of Arts and Sciences, and 17 students from the School of Computer Studies. This includes 4 doctoral students, 1 from Life Sciences and 3 from Engineering. 25 new faculty joined us from universities around the world and India in the calendar year 2020. 3 of our faculty figured in the top 2% of global scientist list that is compiled by Stanford University based on research impact. 2 of our distinguished professors, Kunal Basu and Ramadhar Singh, were recognized with Parasuraman Award for long-term impact in the field of marketing from the Academy of Marketing Science, USA, and the Lifetime Achievement Award for Excellence in Research by IIM Indore, respectively. Professor Maya Ratnam from Arts and Sciences won the prestigious New India Foundation Fellowship this year. Professor Siddharth Saxena from Management won the 2020 Ideas Worth Teaching Award from the Aspen Institute, Washington, D.C. for his work on the future of work, while Professors Amrita Bihani and Nimit Thakkar, also from Amrit Modi School, won the first prize at the All India Management Association's case writing competition. This is an annual prestigious competition amongst all management professionals in the country. 4 highly impactful conferences were organized at the university during this very constrained year. The 2nd Annual Economics Conference on Economics in Challenging Times, and the Ahmedabad University STEER Conference on the Changing Nature of Innovation by the Amrit Modi School of Management, the AI and Society Conference jointly with the Leverhulme Center for the Future of Intelligence at Cambridge University by the School of Arts and Sciences, and the Ahmedabad Learning Dialogues 2021 by the Center for Learning Futures. The Center for Heritage Management is now seen as one of the most influential centers globally, and their Masters in Management program has been recognized as a model for future programs in the world by Niti Aayog and UNESCO Bangkok. This year, we also launched our Center for Inter-Asian Research for the study of issues that shape Asia and response of Asia to global issues. Our conversation series from the Amrit Modi School of Management has been very active over the last 2 years and is recognized as an important platform for discussing serious contemporary issues in the country. Finally, I'm also happy to inform you that Bhavita Madhu, a student of the Integrated Master of Life Sciences, won the gold medal at the 58th National Roller Skating Championship in 2021. She, along with another student from the University, Radhe Joyce, of the Amrit Modi School, represented India in the World Championships in Paraguay this year. To the graduating class, as you step out, you will experience that the world has changed dramatically in the last few years. Big issues that existed but were ignored are now in our face, and we cannot ignore them anymore. Whether it is untimely rains across the country and flooding in cities, or the incidence of dengue and other diseases year after year, or increasing deaths on the road, or persistence of extreme poverty in our country, or even lack of peace within the country and in our neighborhood. These and other similar areas offer big opportunities for you to engage with and contribute to the well-being of our nation and its people. You have within you the best of traditions of deep learning. You carry contemporary skills and you have a can-do attitude. You have been instilled with an ability to work hard and question everything around you. You have an internal compass within your mind and your heart that will help you decide what is truth and what is not. Just believe in your goodness and you will do wise things. You are ready to bring change to the world. We will be watching your contributions and rooting for you from Commerce 6 Roads and hope they will bring you back to us again and again. My congratulations to you, your families, and your professors on your graduation. May all your dreams always come true. Thank you. I now invite the Chancellor. I now invite the deans to present the candidates for the convocation today.
Respected Chancellor, I present to you Juhi Kiran Kumar Shah, who has successfully completed the requirements of the doctoral program, and request the university to confer on her the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Respected Chancellor, I present to you a total of 38 graduating students who have successfully completed the requirements of their degrees. These include Abhishek Nair and 31 students of the Integrated Master of Science in Life Science program, and I request the university to confer on them the degrees of Bachelor of Science and Master of Science in Life Sciences. Rajvi Patel and 5 students of the Bachelor of Science Honours in Life Sciences program, and I request the university to confer on them the degree of Bachelor of Science Honours in Life Sciences.
By the authority given to me by governing body of Ahmedabad University, I confer on each one of you the respective degree and charge you that in your life, by word and deed, you prove yourselves worthy of it.
Respected Chancellor, I present to you a total of 602 graduating students who have successfully completed the requirements of their degrees. These include Debbie Thomas and 4 students of the Master of Arts in Economics, Hemant Pandey and 111 students of the Master of Business Administration, Yashi Ranjan and 8 students of the Master of Management Studies in Heritage Management, Vishwam Khetani and 12 students of the Bachelor of Business Administration Honours, R. Hasha and 399 students of the Bachelor of Business Administration, Rishit Javeri and 104 students of the Bachelor of Commerce. Respected Chancellor, I present to you Swanand Palsule and 13 students who have successfully completed the requirements of the Global Executive MBA in Pharmaceutical Management, and I request the university to confer on them the degree of Master of Business Administration.
By the authority given to me by the governing body of Ahmedabad University, I confer on each one of you the respective degree, and I charge you that in your life, by word and deed, you prove yourselves worthy of it.
Respected Chancellor, I present to you Rupal Agrawat, Vijay Soni, and Ankur Changela, who have successfully completed the requirements of the doctoral program, and request the university to confer on them the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Respected Chancellor, I present to you a total of 158 graduating students who have successfully completed the requirements of their degrees. These include Arpita Patel and 4 students of the Master of Technology in Computer Science and Engineering, Jeet Shukla and 23 students of the Bachelor of Technology in Chemical Engineering, Akash Tike and 86 students of the Bachelor of Technology in Information and Communication Technology, Mahima Yadav and 41 students of the Bachelor of Technology in Mechanical Engineering. I request the university to confer their respective degrees on them.
By the authority given to me by the governing body of Ahmedabad University, I confer on each one of you the respective degree, and I charge you that in your life, by word and deed, you prove yourselves worthy of it.
Respected Chancellor, I present to you Femina Barrot and 16 students who have successfully completed the requirements of the Integrated Master of Computer Application program, and I request the university to confer on them the degree of Bachelor and Master of Computer Applications.
By the authority given to me by the governing body of Ahmedabad University, I confer on each one of you the respective degree, and I charge you that in your life, by word and deed, you prove yourselves worthy of it.
I now invite the deans to present the students who have won the gold medals.
The gold medal for academic excellence for this year of the Integrated Master of Science in Life Science program is awarded to Monil Shah.
The gold medal for academic excellence for this year for the Master of Business Administration program is awarded to Hemant Pandey. The gold medal for academic excellence for this year of the Bachelor of Business Administration program is awarded to Arha Shah. The gold medal for academic excellence for this year of the Bachelor of Commerce program is awarded to Prashid Zaveri.
The gold medal for academic excellence for this year of the Bachelor of Technology in Information and Communication Technology program is awarded to Muskan Matwani. The gold medal for academic excellence for this year of the Bachelor of Technology in Mechanical Engineering program is awarded to Dhruv Parikh.
It's my pleasure to present to you the student speaker this evening. The student speaker is Vasudha Saraugi. Vasudha pursued her Bachelor of Commerce with specialization in taxation from Ahmedabad University. She has been an entrepreneur and worked with crafts. Taking her passion of heritage studies, business and adaptive reuse ahead, Vasudha interned with the Heritage Secretariat of the Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation, before pursuing her Masters of Management in Heritage Studies with the Center of Heritage Management at Ahmedabad University. Vasudha is also pursuing her ACCA degree and intends to craft her venture in the year to come. Let's welcome Vasudha Saraogi.
Good evening. I came to Ahmedabad University 2 years back to study heritage hotels and the related business. I had a goal. I thought I knew business management, and all I needed was a little bit of heritage. As the classes started unfolding, I had to step back. I unlearned and relearned only to repeat this process on, and I found myself in that between. 2 years later, my thesis research was on the regeneration of historic neighborhoods through market routes. Yes, the Heritage Hotel still features in the research, but I think I'm thinking of a greater impact. I now have a vision. Learning extended beyond the classroom when we went for trips to places like Jagmanpur and Junagadh. Analyzing any historic site can be slightly tricky when we have students from different disciplines coming together. For instance, during our discussions, the architect wanted to work with their own instinct. The historian wanted to perfect the historical timeline. The designer wasn't happy with the aesthetics. And as for the entrepreneur, the business concepts were now looking like a lie. Is there a solution to this chaos? Well, eventually there was. We all established mutual respect, agreed to disagree, and didn't just come up with answers, but we came up with holistic solutions. Very organically, we moved from I to we, a university lesson that's going to go a really long way in life. At Ahmedabad University, we all have tread upon the path of purpose finding, celebrating ourselves as individuals, but understanding the value of working cohesively in a team. Spinning off on Spider-Man, with great eccentricity comes great responsibility. And today it is our responsibility as students to take this eccentric work culture ahead. To the graduating class of 2021, congratulations. It is scary, but we are now on Pride Rock, and it is time we take our place in the circle of life. So let's get out there, claim ourselves, maybe twinkle like the stars or shine like the planets. Either way, we now take a leap of faith and make the world a brighter space. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vasudha. Wonderful to hear you and your experience and words to the students today. I now invite the Chancellor, Shri Sanjay Lalbhai, to address the students and the gathering this evening.
Good evening to all of you. I'm very happy to welcome our chief guest, Professor Abhijit Banerjee, a distinguished economist, thinker, and a Nobel laureate. Professor Pankaj Chandra, Vice Chancellor, members of Board of Governors and Board of Management, deans and associate deans of the respective schools, members of faculty, and the graduating students at the 11th Convocation of Ahmedabad University. Today we celebrate our young graduates, their efforts and their achievements. I congratulate you all for successfully completing rigorous programs of study at Ahmedabad University. You are going to lead the future of many nations and most importantly ours. And I feel confident that this education will be the first step in many that will make your life more meaningful. The last 2 years have been very traumatic for all of us. Some of you have lost family members. Many of you have suffered individually, and all of you have seen suffering around you at a very early age. We had never expected how our lives will get so constrained and how our societies will be distressed, especially the most vulnerable sections. It has taught us many lessons on how we must care for all in the society, as no one is healthy until all are healthy. No one escapes the impact of poverty and unemployment unless all are free from want and have means of living. It is the value of this interconnectedness and dependence on each other that our isolation of 2 years has made it so salient for us. To you graduates, you have been presented with an opportunity to change the way this world conducts itself through your education, your entrepreneurial spirit, and your concern for the society. Whether it is food or health or climate change or transportation or social justice, all require new ways of thinking about access, quality, and fairness. You have the skills to lead developments in these and other areas. If you remain committed to an idea deeply for a long enough duration, and if you are sincere about your purpose, then nothing can ever stop you from making meaningful contributions. Look out for such opportunities to contribute. When Ahmedabad Education Society was set up in early 1930s, it had a goal in mind: to build a comprehensive university system in Ahmedabad, one that will build the theories which will change the society for good, one that will help young people become agents of change. Ahmedabad University is carefully crafting such a proposition for its students and faculty and laying the foundation of a research university in India. Today, the question around health, climate change, cities, etc., and consequently well-being of all have to be integrated with growth, security, and employment so that India can emerge as a vibrant country of enormous hope and prosperity. Our hope is that Ahmedabad University will lead this thinking through its research, engagement with society at large, and the way it educates its students. Today, 833 students graduate from our university. You have been educated in the best of traditions of rigorous learning. You have built perspectives and learned skills that are contemporary, and you have been trained in action orientation. You are ready to take leadership in the society and in your chosen field of work. On behalf of my colleagues on the Board of Governors, I congratulate you for completing a significant journey and wish you best in your career and life. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to introduce our chief guest today, Professor Abhijit Vinayak Banerjee, who is the Ford Foundation International Professor of Economics at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. In 2003, he co-founded the Abdul Latif Jameel Poverty Action Lab, or JPAL, with Esther Duflo and Senthil Mullainathan, and he remains one of the lab's directors. Professor Banerjee is a fellow of the National Academy of Sciences, the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, and the Econometric Society. He's a winner of the Infosys Prize and the co-recipient of the 2019 Nobel Prize for his work in development economic research. What may be less known is Professor Abhijit Banerjee is an author of large number of articles, 5 books, including Poor Economics, which won the Goldman Sachs Business Book of the Year, and Good Economics for Hard Times, both co-authored with Esther Duflo. He is the editor of 3 more books and has directed 2 documentary films. He has served on the UN Secretary General's high-level panel of eminent persons on the post-2015 development agenda. He's a trustee of Save the Children USA and the chair of the Global Education Evidence Advisory Panel and the Global Advisory Board for COVID-19 response of the government of West Bengal. We look forward to hearing you, Professor Banerjee.
Thank you. It's an honor to be invited to deliver a convocation address to this at this very distinguished institution. And I I want to start, of course, by congratulating the 833 of you who graduate today. I think it's easy to you forget that this 2 or 3 or 5 years ago, when you applied to these programs, you thought this was, you'd be grateful if you got in. This would be an amazing experience for you. This is one of the best and most intellectually demanding programs in India. And if you could get in, you would be grateful, life would be better. I think that it's worth keeping that perspective in mind, because now you got used to it. Now you've been there. You have graduated from the institution. You know you can do the courses. You've done well in the courses. And that makes you feel the present often dominates our perception. We forget the perspective that we started with, but the perspective you started with is very important. It's the perspective of saying, I want this opportunity for my life. If I get it, I'll be lucky. Because if you remember that perspective, you realize that the present, is, it's a moment to celebrate, you're celebrating. But I suspect that there is also a little disquiet, because now you have to move on. And there are things that you have achieved, but things you may not have achieved. You may be concerned that, oh, well, I didn't get that job which I wanted, or I didn't get get into that other program that I want to go on from here, or I just, somehow I wish I had done better in whatever, economics or math or whatever you had taken. So I think there is a moment, it's easy to go back and think, life could have been slightly different. I could have been better. And I think the main point is that life is great for you. You have somehow through this amazingly sort of strange times we've been through, you've gone through it. With no doubt many tragedies around you, many tragedies that no doubt touched you, but still you have come through it. You have managed somehow, despite the psychological pressures that moment provided, you managed to navigate through it. You managed to be a success. You've done the first thing you wanted to do, which is to go to Ahmedabad University and graduate. And for that, congratulations. Don't forget that. That was your goal a few years ago. Now you've achieved it. Don't forget that. Don't let yourself be drowned by the present. The present will offer many more challenges, but the first thing to do is to open your heart and celebrate. You have done what you came to do. That's related to the second point I wanted to make, which is that I think that it's useful, and maybe it's a little crass of me to say this, but I think you should think of yourself as supremely privileged. You went to one of the best institutions in India, you're graduated. You're supremely privileged. And I think that's important to hold on to, because it's very important that you recognize that we're in a society where most people, both because of lack of preparation, lack of opportunity, lack of talent, will not get the same opportunity. You are the winners of a extremely, we have 1.4 billion people. You're a winner of an enormously difficult competition. And that's a perspective to keep in mind, because that tells you that it's, relative to most people in India, you are in a place to be uniquely influential, uniquely effective, uniquely able to do things. That's both a privilege and a responsibility. And I think I want to emphasize both words. It's a privilege, and the privilege part was important because it means that if you don't manage to do something significant, the only reason you can't do it is there'll be some bad luck, but I think mostly it's going to be you. It's going to be you because you're going to not necessarily believe this story. So you'll fixate on. So the thing I want to emphasize is that this is the moment to take stock of the fact that you've been successful, you can be successful, and you want to take on the biggest challenges, not to think about what society has dictated to you as the route of further success, but to imagine what life you would want. I think it's very important to open your heart and think, I know these are the routes I'm supposed to take, but is that what I really want? I teach at MIT, and I taught at Harvard, and I saw many outstanding undergraduates and outstanding master's students and outstanding PhD students. And a lot of them, I think, in life have been disappointed. And they've been disappointed because they were too quick to buy into a narrative of what success constitutes. There's a very nice book by a young, less young now, a young woman who went to MIT and then wrote a book called Liquidated, about what happens to college students after they end up in the finance industry. And her point was not that there's some people who don't enjoy it. Surely some people enjoy it, some people do brilliantly, some people serve the world, but many others drop out. And they drop out because they realize that at some point, this was not their passion. This was a delivered passion. In fact, she describes in great detail how these financial companies create, and consulting companies, and increasingly startups, create a narrative that if you don't do this, you are a failure. And it's in their interest to do it because you have tons of talent and they want your talent. So they want to construct a narrative which says that it's, this is what defines success. Success is doing finance or this is not your context, it's the context of my life, my economic students at Harvard and MIT. And for them, it's very clear what is the delivered narrative about what success is. That may not be your narrative. I think the first order is to try to think of what you want to do, because you are the advantage of being privileged is precisely that you don't need the usual props to be successful. You can be imaginative, you can be creative, you can follow what you believe to be the right way to be successful. And you should listen to what your heart is saying, what your mind is saying. What you're hearing around you is not going to be, it's often influenced by very structured discourses. I grew up in India. I know how much these discourses influence us. I remember I had joined my undergraduate in economics, long story why, but the interesting part of it wasn't that. The interesting part of it was my uncle, who's from Gujarat and who I really adore. He was very softly trying to tell me, look, I know you're disappointed. You must be disappointed. Next year you apply and you can get into engineering. And I didn't have the heart to tell him that I had no desire to do engineering. I had zero interest in almost any of the sort of science and STEM fields. I thought they were all boring. And I wanted to be a social scientist. And that was always, so I was lucky because my parents were social scientists. And so I didn't have to fight a battle to get there. But I could see that if I were born in a different family, in my generation, I would have had to be, I was a good student, good at math. So I would have been almost had no choice but to become an engineer. And I saw many people in my generation who, because of that particular trap, became engineers. And then at 35 or 40 or 45 decided that this was not the life they wanted. And I think that, keep that in mind, that you want to do something that will sustain you for life, or at least give you the opportunity to explore things that will allow you to find the path to what you want to do in life. That's what you want to do now, not fixate on a particular career and hold on to it. I think that's extremely, my experience as a teacher. I've been a teacher for, forever, for 35 years now or more. And so I think that it's very easy to have these narratives dictate. And the related question is, therefore, you give yourself the opportunity to just be, to have the courage to do what you want to do. I think it's not, I think that that's why I want to emphasize the fact you're privileged, because you will succeed. You are people who have succeeded, you will succeed again. So don't let society, or even your families, to be honest, they will not forgive me for saying this, but even your families dictate what you want to do. I think you have the ability, you should lead yourself. I think that's I remember, again, I will go back to my own history. I remember that, I think for me, and I've told the story before, that I think the great advantage I had in life, I would say, was I had no idea what I wanted to do. And I really didn't. I wanted to find out. And as a result, I remember this moment, which has been written about in the press, so I'll mention it. Just as I was about to leave to JNU and go to Harvard, I was in a student demonstration, and we were taken to Tihar jail and kept there for 10 days. And when I came out, lots of my elders and betters told me, well, now you have screwed up your career. Harvard will never let you in, America will never let you in, etc., etc. And I think they thought I should be regretful. And I realized at that point that I had no particular stake in going to Harvard. It was whatever. So another thing I could do, but I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I said, fine, I'll do something else. I was not in the least bothered. And I think that was telling me that I was actually not yet convinced that this is what I wanted to do. I had in my heart, I was still exploring. And it took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do. But I think I had the privilege to be able to do that. And I feel that my life has been transformed by that. That happened to me again when I was an assistant professor, and I was doing pretty well. And one of my senior colleagues called me aside and said, you're doing all this theoretical stuff, that's great. There's the other stuff you're doing, which is in developmental economics, and I think that's not going to go anywhere. Don't bother. I said, yes, thank you. And then I did whatever I wanted to do. So it was, I think that I think it's very important. I would say that my great privilege in life has been to be able to ignore lots of well-meaning advice that wants to pull me back to the standard issue human being. And I think that has given me the ability to be fortunate. I think when you let fortune speak, then you get fortune's favor sometimes. And I think I've been fortunate partly because I was not close to those options. And I say that with great humility, because I think that I didn't understand what I was doing. It was not that I had a plan and I was not going to do this or that or the other. I just looking back on my life, I realized that what I benefited from was not being driven by particular agendas. And I think that I think was also true of many of my friends. I must say, again, I've said this several times. Among my friends from childhood, I find that the ones who were successful, many of them who were successful at the point where, in taking a route that society dictated for them, ended up, I think, in many ways worse off, more unhappy, more depressed with their choices than ones who were at 23 or 25 seen as failures, college dropouts, whatever. They ended up charting more interesting paths, and at 60, they're much more doing things. They're excited. They're having fun. And I think that's a lesson I want all of us to remember. There are lots of things that you can do. I think that, and that's worth keeping in mind. It's certainly the standard paths are not to be sniffed at. Some of you will be brilliant at them. You'll be great, managers. You'll be great entrepreneurs, and I don't at all sniff at those. Those are socially useful things to do, and those of you who have a real passion for it, do it. But if you feel like you want to write a novel or make a movie or become a chef or fight for justice or fight poverty or run for government office, do it. I think we need all of those things in India. People who are passionate, talented, well-trained, and don't worry about, is my training in commerce useful for it? The most important training you have is actually not in your subject. It's in the training of the mind, the openness to ideas, the ability to interpret what other people are saying. That's the training that's most valuable in life. The rest of it is something you could pick up. When you have the reason to learn it, you learn it fast. Just don't worry about whether your commerce background prepares you well for, making a movie. Satyajit Ray and Shyam Benegal both had undergraduate degrees in economics. And then they didn't use it for 1 minute, but that was fine. They did fine in life. And so I think that don't ask yourself the question, am I, my specific training, the specific training is an act of a moment. What is really important is you are trained as, lively, thoughtful, open human beings. And that's the most important part of your training. If that you keep that in mind, then you are going to be willing to do whatever it takes. You won't be constrained by what training you have. And then, I think that it's also, I think, the last point I wanted to make about being privileged is that I think it's also, I say that partly in mind because I think you are in a place where you can give back, and society really needs it. We are in a time of extreme pain in India. I just spent some time in rural West Bengal, and and the stories you hear about all the people all the aspirations that have been a little bit dashed are very real, because a lot of people who migrated had to come back, and they had small aspirations which became smaller now. So I think that we're in a moment of great pain. We are, the economy is still well below where it was in 2019. We don't know how much below, but we're substantially below. So and I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying this is a moment where society demands your abilities, your talents, your commitment, and you will do it in different ways. Some will start businesses, some will provide jobs to other people, some will fight for social justice, some will write novels that will uplift us. But do take into account that you are, because we are in this place of privilege, we can do something. The related point I want to make is that, and don't worry about whether what you're doing will change the universe. Nothing changes the universe. Things change slowly. Gandhi, when he first came back to India in 1915, reading him, you realize that he also didn't know where he was going. He kind of had, Gokhale had talked about home rule, and so he had some vague ideas, but you read him, he's changing his mind about everything over time. And that's the greatness of Gandhi. And so don't worry about whether you can transform the world. You probably can't. But what we can do, each of us doing what we are best at doing, what we are passionate about doing, cumulatively changes the world. So don't be shy to try, and be generous to yourself. Don't let yourself fail. Let yourself try new things, and I think eventually you realize that you've been doing the right thing. The last thing I want to say is, in the middle of all this, don't forget the one other great thing you got at Ahmedabad University, which is the ways in which you are connected to the people you studied with, the mentors you had, the great teachers you had. I think it's easy to get involved in life and forget that that's one of the great privileges we have of our friends, people who we love, people who we can give to, people who will give us, people who give whom we have unrestrained generosity. And I think that, don't forget that, hold on to it, hold on to your passion for whatever you are interested in, and you will have a wonderful life. Congratulations, and thank you for having me.
Good evening, all of us, and good morning to our chief guest, Abhijit Banerjee.
Thank you.
Chancellor of University Sanjay Lal Bhai, Vice Chancellor Shri Pankaj Bhai, all the deans, faculty members, staff, graduating students, and the entire university parivar, including the invited guest. It's indeed a privilege for me to express our sincere thanks and gratitude to all those who helped and contribute in bringing success to this 11th convocation. We are indeed privileged to have, for the first time, our Nobel laureate, Sri Abhijit Banerjee. I think for the first time, someone has joined from outside India, and thanks to technology, your words have been like the pulse of wisdom. You have instilled the confidence in the students that now they are winners, but they should have courage to challenge. They should have their own voice. They should have courage to ignore some of the genuine advices, but decide to do what they want to do. In a way, I think it goes well with our philosophy of bringing independent mindedness also. So thank you, sir. We are all privileged to have you over here. We would have been happier if you were here physically, and I hope someday it might happen. So on behalf of entire university, I express sincere thanks and gratitude to you. I know that you are slightly disposed of, but nonetheless, you came to us. You showered the blessings on all of the students. Thank you. I also thank our Chancellor, Sri Sanjay Lal Bhai, for the blessings showered on the students. But he has been, and the entire team, quite supportive to the university and augmenting the efforts and initiatives of our Vice Chancellor, the Dean, and all of us. And the proof is that this year we have got at least 2 recognitions. One is under Section 12B of the UGC, and also an in-principle approval as Center of Excellence by Government of Gujarat. So we are all thankful to entire board members. I also express sincere thanks and gratitude to all the guests, though they are not here, but online they have joined us. Ahmedabad Education Society has always been a great support in providing the resources. So I also express sincere thanks and gratitude to the team of Ahmedabad Education Society and the board members. Such event can be successful only with the help of one and all at Ahmedabad University. And I'm happy as registrar to put on record the great efforts, contribution, and planning from all of us, but especially in this online area, the contribution of IT team, the communication team, the facilities and campus management team is enormous. The contribution and support by these students, volunteers, is also worth noting. So with this, I also congratulate all the graduating students, and they deserve a great amount of appreciation and recognition, because I know for 11 years, while we have reached a level, still Ahmedabad University has to make a name, and all those who have been here, it shows their confidence and belief in what we are doing it. So thank you all the students and to the parents also. And final request is that remain connected. We are going to have great days ahead, and we want you to witness the growth and contribute your best. Thank you. And I would request Sanjay Lal Bhai to make a formal and final declaration. Thank you.
So I declare the 11th convocation closed. Thank you all.
Come, principal, first, no.
Thank you.